Nina, this is, oh man, if anybody knows me, you know how much I cry at like everything and I'm about to, because this literally is my favorite thing to do. And it came up because the team was talking about like, what's your favorite thing to do that you haven't done in a while? And I'm like, we haven't done free coaching calls since 2020. I used to do these every week. So I'm stoked that we're bringing them back. Nina, hi, gratitude question.
On that note, I'm super grateful to be here and super grateful for a big partnership I landed this morning. So there's that.
Congrats.
And thank you. I'll do this with as little context as possible. You may need more. So historically, I've branded my business, my coaching business, just with my name, Nina Steinberg.
Yeah.
And curious if I should start branding more around what I help people with, which is connection, and branding more around connection.
So your Instagram handle is your name.
Exactly. And I'm starting to do events more and things where I think like branding around what you're doing helps. And I'm just curious, and I can elaborate as much as is helpful. But yeah, curious your perspective on like at what point, if at any point, should it be about your name versus like catchy things that you can make apparel for, or like fun websites for, things other than your name.
Yeah. My opinion on this has changed over the years too, and neither is right. I think both have a place in business and both are great. When I think of, here's the thing. If you're a personal brand, like I am, right? That's, people know my name and I'm the face of it and I'm still the head coach, despite the fact that we have a team. It's really difficult to sell your business if you ever wanted to exit it. Not that that's everybody's goal, but when you are the face of it, when you're the talent, it's really difficult to step away. And it's not just about selling your business. It's like, if I want to take a vacation or sabbatical or maternity leave, now what does that look like for my business? Which is why earlier I said it's so important for me to edify my coaches and really speak up my coaches and what they do. And like sell my coaches harder than I sell myself, right? So I understand not wanting to be the face of it and being the personal brand all the time, because it's like, well, then it requires you to be there and it wouldn't pass the like step off the curb and get hit by a bus litmus test, which is morbid, but right. That's what we want to think about. It's like, what would happen? And in the same breath, when I think of some of the biggest brands in the world, I see the owner, the founder as that. So when I look at Sarah Blakely, she's Sarah Blakely. She is not Spanx. She just started Spanx. She created Spanx. She's the founder of Spanx. And Spanx has enough, it's got its own two legs that it can stand on its own. And it has its own Instagram and it has its own website and it has its own trademark. It's Spanx, but she is Sarah Blakely. And we can play that game with so many different brands, right? So for me, in a perfect world, would want you to be and have both. Mm-hmm. And building one Instagram is hard enough. Building one email list is hard enough. And so that's why I say, like, in a perfect world, I would want you to have both. Where I believe people benefit more when they start is being the brand. Be the brand, be the founder. People fall in love with you. People buy from people. People want to know your story and how and what was created from that. And then at a point when you have the capacity or the team or the client results or the content, then I would love to see 2 pages, right? And so we have a digital business evolution page, but we have Jess Glazer. Well, technically it's now Jessica DeRose. It's very confusing. I have a lot of names. I am Jess Glazer, right? So I don't love, and my clients know this, I don't love like the cutesy carrots and curls and, you know, like the names like that. And also it is easier to brand something like that. So could you be Nina Steinberg? And then what's your core signature offer or program called?
Well, so mostly just one-on-one coaching, but I have events that are connection circles, or, you know, like I've branded some of my events. And so that's why I'm wondering if, how to marry, or like if I should be doubling down on how I'm branding some of my offerings more than just myself.
Yeah.
And I'm not at the place where I have yet the big team and so managing one Instagram page, crazy enough.
But you can still brand things and have one page. So if you were if you were to say, Jess, what would you do? Because that's the only way I can answer this question. Is what I would do is I would be Nina Steinberg. And then like, we're having this really fun event and it's business and bubbly. It's a connection event, and Business and Bubbly can have its own logo, which takes 10 seconds to make on Canva because thanks to AI, right? So
Yep.
Business and Bubbly has this really cute logo. It does not need its own Instagram page, but it can have its own landing page. So anyone who wants to come to Business and Bubbly, they're going to register here or they're going to buy a ticket here. It could be a juicy sales page. It could be a really short opt-in page. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And then at the event, you can have Business and Bubbly printed on notebooks and people can buy sweatshirts. But then 2 weeks later, you can have something else with another brand name over here where it's like Fitness and Finances, and that has its own logo. And Fitness and Finances is hosted by Nina Steinberg, and Business and Bubbly is hosted by Nina Steinberg. And so that's what I would do. I would keep it separate, and that's no different than having offers in your business. So our main signature offer that everybody knows is Empower, but I am not Empower. And Empower is only one thing that we have. We've got an elite mastermind. We've got Beyond Six Figures. We've got this, we've got that. But each program, each offer does have its own branding. And usually it's a cousin of the main brand, but I currently am the main brand because I'm the founder. And even my branding, so Jess Glazer DeRose has different branding than Digital Business Evolution, but they're actually some of the same color palettes. So if you saw one without the other, your brain would maybe go, oh, that reminds me of something. I can't put my finger on it, but it kind of reminds me of, oh, I think Jess. Or isn't that what Digital Business Evolution uses? So we use cousins, but the branding is actually separate. So I have my own brand, the company has its own brand, and then any offers inside have their own brand. I would keep it to yourself because here's the thing. If you speak on a stage and people fall in love with you, they're going to Google your name. They're going to look for your name. They're going to be looking on Instagram for your name. And so if your name is your handle, if your name is the current business, if your name is your website, if your name is your podcast, it's going to populate a lot faster than if you were, whatever, carrots and curls. Yeah.
Thank you. That is a super helpful answer.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. In a perfect world, we'd all have like 1 million pages running. That would be so nice on every platform. We'd
Without
be on
taking
every
any of our
social media.
time.
Yeah. AI would do it all. Jennifer, gratitude and question.
I'm grateful that I made eggs and avocado toast today.
Love it.
My question may be simple, but I am newly launching my business. I just wrapped up my website. I haven't actually created my social, but I know already what this looks like. I've like researched everything. So my question to you is I don't technically have proof of concept. Should I be offering free sessions to generate reviews and interest prior to actually launching, like booked fees?
Yeah, this is a great question. I just want to know, what is your service?
I am a professional listening service. I'm a professional recruiter. I've been one for 20 years. I've been listening to people for 20 years. So I'm transitioning. So I'm not really therapy or counseling, but just providing authentic conversations.
So that they can do what? What would the transformation be?
So that they can live better, more improved lives. I think that there's a loneliness epidemic in America, and my main buyer avatar would probably be in their like mid to upper 30s, early 40s. They would be a professional. They would have a very hectic, stressful life, be looking for work-life balance, possibly going through a divorce, these different life circumstances, and they're just looking for someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Like maybe they don't want to seek therapy because they have some stigma around it, or it's hard to get into therapy right now. So just kind of, I don't know.
Cool. I feel like I know her. There's no right answer here. And the answer that I often give my clients, which really annoys them, is like, what do you want to do?
I want to charge. There's actually already proof of concept. I launched my website not knowing that there was a main competitor with like one letter off. So I'm the listening friend, and they're a listening friend, and they have like 8 different coaches that are professional listeners. So I know it's a valuable resource. I just
you can do whatever you want. So generally when you're getting started and you want to get some proof of concept and client results, you can do free service with the intention that like, I'm giving you this service for free and you're agreeing that you will give me feedback, written testimonial and or video. You could do both. You could do very low cost, and some people call that like a beta. So at a fraction of what it will eventually be, you know, for just a couple $100 or $75 or whatever it would be. This is, 70% off what it's going to be when I formally roll this out into the world. That way the person has a little bit of skin in the game. When people pay, they generally pay attention and they take it a little bit more seriously. And if you feel energetically that you want to be paid for your services, you can do something like that. You can also do a barter situation. So if this is a person who, like, let's say it's a graphic designer and you were looking for a logo, you could do a barter where I'll give you X amount of listening sessions for free in exchange for this deliverable that you're going to give me in this time frame. There's no right answer. What I do believe is the wrong answer is to get so set in our ways, and not everybody agrees with me, to get so set in our ways that we shoot ourselves in the foot, because Taylor Swift said it best. It's me, I'm the problem, it's me. Oftentimes in your business, you, and I'm saying collective, I'm not saying Jennifer, you are the problem and you are the bottleneck. And when we get so caught up in our ego and we're like, I have to charge this number, and you're just getting all these no's from people, then are you really shooting yourself in the foot long term? Where if you could just let go of your ego momentarily for a temporary discomfort of 1 or 2 or 3 free or discounted sessions, what will that look like in the future? Rather than like, I know my worth and I'm not willing to go lower than it. And I'm not saying anyone should go lower than what they believe that they're worth. But I do think that the ego gets in the way a lot in our businesses, a lot. We hold on to things longer than we should because of our ego. We say yes to too many things, no to too many things. Like, we and our ego have quite the relationship to work through. So I would say be open and flexible. A lot of times people in our signature program, when they launch their coaching programs and courses, they'll have a number in mind that they want to charge for. And then they might be coming towards the end of their launch and maybe they haven't hit their numbers. Maybe it's coming up as a silent launch, meaning nobody has joined. And so it's at that moment, you have an opportunity as the business owner to say, okay, well, do you want to try a lower number? Maybe your messaging isn't quite there. Maybe they don't really understand the value of the transformation. Maybe your own confidence level isn't quite there. Because if you're not confident in selling, they're not confident in buying it. And until you actually have sold it or have client results, a lot of times we're a little shaky on how we talk about our offers because we don't even know. We're like, I've never even had anybody go through it yet. You're selling an idea. And so what we'll have sometimes is clients who maybe 2 or 3 people have paid to be in the program, but then they might actually barter and have 1 or 2 people in there for free. And so now they have this like great group of 5 that they're working with, but not everybody was paying the same amount. And obviously you have to feel comfortable with that. And that's a conversation that you would need to be having privately with those people, so they're not broadcasting that out. But I would say just be mindful that you're not shooting yourself in the foot. And at the end of the day, there's also the best part of being a business owner is that you write the rules. So who's to say that you couldn't do a free session or 2, but then also maybe you do a low fee session or 2, and all you're doing in the meantime is collecting that feedback and data and getting those client results. So I mean, I'm bleh, bleh. Hello, I am for all of it. Like, test it all, try it all. Yeah. And when it comes to the whole charging your worth thing, I'm going to give you a little mic drop moment. I completely disagree with all the memes on the internet that say charge your worth and then add tax. It's super cute. But for me, don't charge your worth. Like that's ridiculous. If you had 1 hour left on life, like 1 hour left on this earth, and you had 2 options while you're on your deathbed. Option A was someone who was going to write you a check for whatever your worth was. Like, I'll write you the biggest check to hang out with me and help me in your service that you provide for the last hour of your life. Or the other option is spend that last hour with your loved ones, your friends and family, but get no money out of it. I'm like, I know what we would all pick. So for me, I'm like, you could never pay me. You could never pay me my worth. So no, I'm not going to charge you my worth. I'm going to charge you what I think is relatively appropriate for the value of the transformation that I'm delivering based on the market and how you perceive it to be valuable. Because what I perceive and what you perceive are 2 different things, right? Like for me, no shade, I will never buy a Coach, a Chanel, a Fendi, a Prada, a Louis. I will never buy one of those bags for so many reasons. So for me, I'm like, I don't even care if it was like $6. I don't think it's worth $6 for me. I don't want a bag with names on it, right? Like, cause I'm like, you should be paying me to walk around with your name tag all over me. I'm not going to pay you to walk around with your brand on it. So for me, the value is very different. And one of the ways that we teach value is this, awful image of you walking through the desert. And here you all are. Does anyone have like a drink around them right now? Water bottle, coffee, green juice, something. It's 2023. Yeah. Hello. Here we are. We all got I don't have a Stanley. I'm not that cool. Okay. So we all have water. So if I were to offer you a water right now for $10, you probably all would be like, no, thanks. Even if you don't have it on your desk, you're like, I can walk to my kitchen. So grateful that we can, right? And I can go get a water. I don't need your $10 water. But now if you were walking through the desert and you were alone and you fainted and you were going through dehydration and starvation and you were on day 3 and I walked up to you and I was like, I got a water bottle. It's only $10. You probably would say something along the lines of like, I will literally do anything for that water. I will Venmo you, call my spouse, we'll figure it out, take my right arm. I will die if you don't give me that water. So now the value of the water just completely changed. Same water, same price, same exact item, but in a different circumstance, it's worth something very different to you. So that's kind of my thoughts on charging as well. And we can go through a whole thing on how to actually come up with your hourly rate and all of that. Maybe we'll save that for another day. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you loved this episode, I invite you to be a part of our ripple effect and share it with a friend. And please, if you feel called, take 30 seconds to leave a 5-star review, and I'll be forever grateful. Until next time, cheers to your evolution.